Hello and welcome to Secret Calls on Infidelity Whispers, a space where love, confusion, and the unexpected consequences of intimacy collide. Tonight, we bring you a story unlike most, not just of betrayal, but of tangled emotions, blurred boundaries, and the weight of a mistake that changed everything. Every call we feature is unfiltered, honest, and deeply personal. If this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to subscribe because somewhere in these voices, you might hear echoes of your own journey. And if you believe in the quiet power of storytelling, of healing through truth, help us share these voices with others who might need them most. I'm your host, Sophie, and tonight's call is not just about pain, it's about ownership, responsibility, and the difficult path toward redemption. Sometimes, life doesn't give us clean choices, only the chance to make the next one right. Let's get connected. Hello, you're live on Secret Calls on Infidelity Whispers. Who am I speaking with tonight?
Hello? Hi, good evening. Sophie.
Good evening, and please feel free to share your story with us.
Yes, I'd like to speak to Dr. Carter, if that's possible.
Tonight, we have psychologist Dr. Lily with us in the studio. She'll be listening to your story and offering guidance.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, you're connected now.
Hello, I'm here. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Okay. I've been struggling with something really complicated. I've thought about it over and over again, and I just didn't know who to talk to. So I decided to call the show and ask for your advice.
I'm listening. Take your time.
I'm 37 years old. I work at a concrete plant in Fresno, California. I've never been married. At work, I've become close with a female coworker who's 45. We've worked the same shifts, talked a lot, and became quite friendly over time. At first, it was just a nice coworker relationship. But she started sharing things with me about how her husband passed away over 10 years ago, how she raised her daughter alone. I really respected her for that. One day, I went over to her house and met her daughter. She's 20 years old. She really caught my attention. Over time, we got to know each other more, and eventually we started dating. Her mother, my coworker, knew and approved of the relationship. Everything was going fine. But a couple months ago, there was a staff party at the plant. We had a few drinks. After the party, I went back to her house like I sometimes did. Her daughter wasn't home. She was working late that night. Well, I remember parts of it. That night, we had a company party at the plant. Everyone was drinking nothing out of the ordinary. We were all in good spirits. After the party, some folks went out for another round, but she and I didn't go. She suggested I come back to her place to rest a bit. I didn't think much of it. I'd been over before. We'd sat in her living room chatting plenty of times. It felt normal. When we got to her house, she brought me a glass of water, then put on some soft music. She smiled and said, "It's a good night. Let's have one more drink and sleep it off. We'll deal with everything tomorrow." Then she brought out another bottle of liquor. By then, I was already tipsy, but I stayed and drank with her in the living room. We were listening to music, talking about work, about life, and at some point, she moved closer. Her hand brushed against mine. I could tell she was emotional, maybe lonely, maybe just needing someone to be there. I didn't think much of it at first. I was drunk, too. A little later, she took my hand and looked me straight in the eyes. Her eyes were red, probably from the alcohol. I felt awkward and looked away. But then she said, "It's been a long time since I've had anyone to lean on. I'm just tired." Then she hugged me. At first, I was startled. Then she kissed me on the cheek. I froze. I panicked, honestly. But I was too drunk to process it all fast enough. What happened after that is a blur. I remember we ended up in her bedroom. It wasn't forced, but it wasn't exactly something I initiated either. She took off my shirt and kissed me. After that, I just couldn't control what was happening anymore. And it happened.
I see.
It's been over 2 months since then. And just recently, she told me she's pregnant. I honestly don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed.
Let me ask you something first. before that night happened, had there ever been any signs that your relationship with her was more than just friendship?
No, absolutely not. I never thought of her in that way. I respected her like an older sister or mentor. That's it.
And even after you started dating her daughter, you kept visiting their house regularly.
Yes, I did. We all got along well. Honestly, I even thought to myself if I marry her daughter, she'd be a great mother-in-law.
And what about that night? Do you clearly remember what happened? Were you both equally intoxicated?
I was definitely drunk. So was she. When I woke up the next morning, I realized what had happened. I was in shock. I couldn't believe I'd done something like that. I felt like I had betrayed my girlfriend and myself.
Did you talk to her afterward?
No. I've been avoiding her. I'm ashamed. I stopped going to work. Stopped visiting their house. I avoided both her and my girlfriend. I just couldn't face them.
Do you still want to continue your relationship with your girlfriend?
Yes, I really love her. We were planning to get married next spring. Everything was falling into place until this happened.
So now you're caught between two women, one you love and one you never intended to get involved with. But the consequences are real.
Yes, and there's one more thing I haven't said yet. My girlfriend, she's pregnant too.
Wait, well, your girlfriend is also pregnant.
Yes, ma'am. We just found out recently. We plan to keep the baby and get married.
I see. This is heavy. But let's be clear, the past can't be undone. What we can control is how we take responsibility now. If you want to continue building a future with your girlfriend, then you need to 1. Talk privately with her mother. Be honest. Tell her the relationship was a mistake, that it cannot happen again, and that you're sorry. Work with her to decide how to handle the pregnancy in the most respectful way possible. 2. Write down your thoughts before speaking to your girlfriend. Get clear on what you want to say. You need to be honest, but also sensitive and responsible. 3. Prepare for any reaction. You can't control how she will respond. If she decides to walk away, that's her right. But you need to know that you did the right thing by owning up and facing it.
Yes, I understand. I'll do what you suggested. Thank you so much for your advice.
I wish you strength. Sometimes we only learn how to walk in the light after facing our darkest moment.
Thank you, Dr. Lily, for your wise and compassionate insight. And thank you to our caller for having the courage to open up and ask for help. If tonight's story stirred something in you, confusion, discomfort, or quiet recognition, don't let it sit in silence. Share this episode with someone who might need to know even the most tangled mistakes can be faced, and no one is beyond redemption. Healing often begins not with answers, but with the courage to ask the hard questions and to speak the truth, even when it hurts. If you're walking a similarly complicated road or simply need a safe space to speak, know that we're here. Our lines are open. Your story is valid and your voice matters. Subscribe to Infidelity Whispers to keep listening, learning, and perhaps forgiving. I'm Sophie, and as we close tonight, I want to remind you, no matter how blurred the lines or how painful the consequence, hope doesn't disappear. It waits in the next choice, the next conversation, the next moment of honesty. Take care of yourself, and remember you are never truly alone, or truly.